to order. All rise for a salute of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, the Press of Atlantic City and the Star Ledger, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOBM News on Monday, January 6, 2020, and thereafter posting same on the Town Hall Bulletin Board for such notices and filing same with the Township Clerk pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Township Council on Friday, January 3rd, 2020. The meeting dates have also been posted on the Township webpage. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Here.
Councilman Kopp.
Here.
Councilman Lotano.
Here.
Councilman Roderick. Here. Councilman Turnbach.
Here.
Council Vice President Gagan. Here. Council President Maruka.
Present.
First item, the minutes of December 8th, 2020.
Move the minutes.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Lotano. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
I need to abstain.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes.
Council President Maruka.
I need to abstain. I did not attend.
Tonight's honoring resolutions and presentations, we have the retirement from Public Works of Mr. Laszlo Belovitz, and we have Toms River Township's pledge as a stigma-free zone in support of mental health awareness.
Move the honoring resolutions and presentations.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, second by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes.
Council President Maruka.
Yes. We can go do the presentations. We have a... Mary, you want to come over? This evening, we have a retirement from Public Works. I'd like to call up Anthony Bagnola, Public Works Acting Director, to do the presentation.
Okay.
Move it up higher.
Okay. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce a gentleman from our shop, a mechanic who's been a long-time wrench turner for 35 to 40 years. He's a mechanic, a welder, a truck driver. For all those years, and the last 11 years he spent here at Public Works with our family here at Public Works. So he did all of our smoke tests on all our heavy equipment. He was a grunt guy. He did anything we asked him to do. He did all our state diesel emission testing, and we thank you for all that, Les. You always kept us in good hands over there with all that stuff. So without further ado, I welcome you to come on up. Laz Belovitz, for his last 11 years of service with our department, and we're sad to see him go. But I think 40 years of turning wrenches has taken a toll on him. He's ready to get out of here. Congratulations. You want to say a few words, Les?
I really enjoy the fact that something like this has happened to me, because not many people at this time of day is really recognized for what goes on. I wish I could stay, but unfortunately I have difficulties with my health. Not easy getting adjusted to. My wife sees me every day for one time, but nevertheless, I would like to thank everybody in the Department of Public Works for everything that you've done for me. It's been a really good last 10, 11 years, and wish to continue, but I guess it's time to retire. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And our other presentation for the stigma-free zone, we will be doing a presentation with a representative from RWJ at a later date through either the mayor or the council's office. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to our consent agenda. And all matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion on these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately. Is there anyone on the council?
I'd like a roll call on H and L.
H and L, okay. Anyone else on the council for discussion or roll call? Okay. And anyone from the public have any items for discussion?
Seeing none, I'd like to move items H and L, everything but item H and L, sorry, the consent agenda.
I would second that.
The consent agenda, with the two exceptions of items H and L, moved by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes.
Council President Maruka.
Yes. Item H, just a roll call?
Yes.
Okay.
Move item H.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
No.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes.
Council President Maruka.
Yes. And Councilman Roderick, just a roll call on item L?
Well, I'd like to chat about it briefly.
Okay.
So, given the Department of Labor, a division of the Attorney General's office has filed a formal inquiry with the township, and given the township is currently engaged in litigation with both private parties and the U.S. Justice Department, I do not believe it would be wise to dispose of these copy machines at this time. Most copy machines have hard drives that maintain a record of copies made, and this could be viewed as destruction of evidence, which is a federal crime. I'm not saying that a crime has occurred here, but I believe it would be prudent for the administration to ensure the safety and integrity of the data on these copy machine hard drives, if they have them, and perhaps they could be held, by the Toms River Police Department for safekeeping. So I therefore move to table the resolution in light of those issues.
Okay, just a couple questions. Mr. Amoruso, or maybe even Mr. Davidson would be able to answer this. When we sell equipment like that, that has a hard drive in it, are they removed prior to selling the equipment?
Okay, that's, I'm Mr. Amoruso, you're Mr. Roderick.
I get confused
in order for us to dispose of electronic equipment in this fashion, okay, this is no longer deemed usable, it's obsolete, it's beyond repair, and it has no value other than scrap. So in order for us to scrap it, it has to be sold to a qualified e-waste facility, and they are strictly regulated as far as what they do. As far as the hard drive, I'm not that familiar with these machines, but the entire machine gets turned over to the e-waste facility, and there's a process that's approved by the state. As far as the inquiry into payroll records, I would ask Alex to talk, Alex Davidson, to just explain what records were turned over, and they were all payroll records, and they dated back to January of 2018, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
would you please, Alex, just to shed some light on the question?
Councilman Roderick, in reference to the hard drives on the copiers, I know our IT division head has policies and procedures in place to ensure that there's no data loss as a result of it, but we can certainly follow up with him on that. He made sure that we cannot utilize that copier for any other reasons, can't be sold, and that data, regardless of what it would be used for, can't be found on it. Like, if I can't just release social security numbers if it's on a hard drive. So he goes on he ensures record retention is followed for those hard drives.
Record retention or record destruction, right? I mean,
Record
because
retention.
you just said two different things. So if he goes through to ensure that nobody can recover the data, that's different than going.
Well, I
through
can't
and
let the,
backing up.
I can't let the public recover data. I can't just have a jump drive standing out there with everybody's payroll data.
No, I understand. This is really a good question for the attorney, honestly. As far as the litigation is concerned and the inquiry, it would be more, and not that I'm saying that.
I'm not a licensed
you know,
attorney. That's fine with
He's
me.
a numbers
I
guy.
would think it would be a better question for the attorney as to whether or not we should be keeping these hard drives at a time like this, or whether they should be disposed of. Or we could just discuss this at some later date in the executive session, and we could just table it right now. I mean, it's really the council.
Mr. Molina, any
I have
thought
a
on
motion
this?
the floor. You know, if I can get a second on tabling this until we can have further discussion, or perhaps Mr. Merlino could better inform the council or myself as to whether or not we should be maintaining this data. It could be.
He's trying to answer you.
I can't see the question.
And, yeah, you want to speak into the mic?
The IT division meticulously retains all electronic data, especially if there's been a litigation hold put on it. So the fact that the machines may be being disposed of does not mean the data on them is being disposed of. And any data that might be stored is stored on our servers.
So we're going to
Which
keep
can
the
be
hard drives
retained.
then, or we're not going to keep the hard drives?
I can't speak to that.
You can't speak.
I'm not in physical.
Mr. Amoreso, are we going to keep the hard drives, or we're not going to keep the hard drives?
I'm sorry to hear what you said.
Are we going to keep the hard drives, or are we not going to keep the hard drive from the copy machines that we're going to dispose of? It's a good question. I mean, it's the council's pleasure as to whether
We're
or
not
not we have this.
We're not required to. I mean, you've got the motion, sir. It's council's pleasure, but we have a record retention system. As Mr. Molino said, all records are retained on the hard drive, so if a machine were, had a major defect in it, we could still recover that information. Again, it's all networked, it's on the server.
Well, look,
I don't, and I think you mischaracterized it as litigation. There is no litigation. It was an inquiry by the Department of Labor for payroll records.
not just that. I mean, it's
provided.
litigation with the Justice Department. There's private litigants. There's all kind. There were litigants. So copy machines are in the
So,
offices.
so
and-
why don't I make this easy? I'm going to make a motion that we pass on item L under the assumption that we have followed all legal requirements and policies as established under the township, the state of New Jersey, and the United States government.
Just to be clear, would you also include maintaining or backing up the data on those drives?
It's already been explained that it is already backed
Well, no,
up.
we got two two different
No,
statements.
I
Yes, we
believe
have the
that
data
Mr.
would be-
Amoruso
Data would be
explained.
cleaned, right?
No,
Cleaned.
that's not what I
Mr. Amoruso explained that we have policies in place, that all data is appropriately maintained as required, that, and Mr. Merlino also stated that the data is stored on our servers, and that it is, or both of them together. They stated that the data is stored on our servers,
Well,
that any data that we're required to retain has been retained, that the hard drives are meticulously either retained or deleted as appropriate according to law, and that we are well within our rights to dispose of garbage equipment as long as we follow our policy. So I'm moving that we go ahead and pass L.
Well, there's a
With
motion,
those
there's a motion on the
assumptions in
floor.
place.
We would have to,
Yes,
I would
but
have
you-
to rescind the motion, but I'm not willing to rescind the motion
you
unless,
you didn't get a
unless we're
second.
going to save the hard drives and/or back
Yeah.
up the data, because I don't think we've been,
But
and again,
you didn't get
the
a
hard
second,
drives
so
that maintain the.
I'm making another motion.
Excuse me, Mr. Roderick, you
Well,
do
I
have,
was- I allowed everybody their chance. I was just trying to
Okay.
solidify what I'm trying to say here. We should be keeping the hard drives. I believe we should keep the hard drives. They are not necessarily, these documents that are scanned, they're not necessarily going up into the cloud, into the servers. There's a hard drive that maintains a record of all those documents, and given that we're involved in litigation, I don't think it would be prudent to throw away
what litigation?
the hard drives.
What litigation are we involved in?
Oh, my God. How many cases, Mr. Rolino, are we involved in currently right now?
How many cases were you?
How many cases are we litigating currently?
Okay,
Council President, may I ask a question of our township attorney?
sure.
Has the Division of Labor or any private citizen issued to the township a preservation of evidence in relation to any of the inquiries that Councilman Roderick is speaking to?
No.
And certainly if a preservation of evidence letter was sent by the Division of Labor, the Department of Justice, or any private citizen, we would comply with that preservation of evidence, correct?
We have.
And certainly, we have preserved all of the material that Councilman Roderick is referring to, correct?
We have.
So,
No further
just to
questions.
clarify, are we going to save those hard drives? As far as this new motion, or this amended motion?
We have heard from the attorney, we have heard from Mr. Amoruso that everything on those hard drives has been backed up. We do have that data.
Is that true? We're backing them up before we throw them away, or? If you guys want to just have the vote now, I guess if you're unwilling to just support this until a later time, saving the hard drives, I really, I think it would be prudent, but obviously if the rest of the council believes that we should just dispose of them, that's fine.
When you say backed up, do you mean that each machine, we had a technician sit down with each machine and then download all of the information on the drive and then store it in a separate file? Is that what you're saying?
So you're saying we haven't done that?
No, I'm asking you a question. I don't know what you mean by backed up.
Well, you see, when you make a photocopy, it's kept on the drive of the machine. It is not sent over the network. It's kept there. Now, if you throw away the machines and you throw away the drives, you don't have that data. It's not set up. Copy machines, even network copiers, don't save on the network. They save on the local machine. So I'm just saying it might be prudent to save those hard drives, but if it's not the council's pleasure to do so, and then by all means, you are in the majority on this. I just think it would be more prudent to save it. But if you're saying that they're not backed up, now we're saying something completely different. Because in some cases, when we throw away computers, et cetera, they secure the computer, correct? Hard drives ordinarily are secured before they are either sold or thrown away. But in this situation, the copy machines, we have litigation. I thought it would be more prudent, but again, I'm not an attorney, so.
But what makes you think we would follow a different policy than we would with a computer hard drive?
Well, because they're in all of the offices and we're in the middle of litigation.
So
And-
why
and-
would-
And individual
Yeah, but
computers are.
Why would we follow a different policy when we dispose
Well,
of
we are
electronic equipment? What makes you think we do? Did you speak to our IT director, and did he tell you that? Did he tell you that he follows a different
Did I speak to the IT director
policy?
about what? I actually, we're not permitted to speak to individual department heads like that.
Oh, you
I don't know
can
if you're
go
aware
through
of that.
the,
Certainly
you can go
are.
through the business administrator.
We speak to
Councilwoman,
department heads all the time.
So,
Councilwoman,
it's
may
just
I?
very unusual to be throwing these away like this.
It is
without saving the hard
absolutely
drive if we're-
not unusual in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Absolutely
well,
not.
Councilman Rodrick,
I have a
have-
motion on the floor. Obviously,
Okay.
it is the council's prerogative to.
You did
to
not
do
get a
something.
second, and so I made a different motion.
Okay. So.
I made a motion. You did not get a second.
Councilman Roderick's motion has failed, did not receive a second.
Okay.
So I now make a motion, again, to pass item L with the understanding that we are following policy that is standard, that we are following the ordinances of Toms River, the laws of the state of New Jersey, the laws of the United States government, that we are complying with all judicial requirements, and that we are following our policy, which is consistent with all requirements for electronic equipment, with the understanding that we would not follow a policy for one piece of equipment and not another piece of equipment, that our IT director has fully secured any information that we may or may not be required to present at a later date. This would be everything but the electronic information that you are concerned about. We would dispose of garbage equipment. This isn't even worthy of auction. It's garbage. So I move that we pass, that we are able to dispose of our garbage and appropriately secure any information that is required of us, now or in the future.
Do we have a second on Councilwoman Hurick's motion?
Second.
That was Councilman Kopp.
Councilman Cobb?
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Kopp. Councilwoman Yurick,
Yes.
Councilman Kopp,
Yes.
Councilman Lotano,
Yes.
Councilman Roderick,
No.
Councilman Turnbach,
Indicate yes and just indicate that I'm offended that there'd be any suggestion that anyone in the township would be attempting to try and destroy evidence that was involved in litigation. We're following proper protocol and procedure. I'm very confident that everything is preserved. What gives me even greater confidence is in any sort of litigation, I'm an attorney, if there was any concern on any copy machine, there would be a preservation of evidence letter issued by the other party. There's been no preservation of evidence letter. If there has been, we've complied with it. This is a non-issue. I vote yes.
Council Vice President Gagan,
Yes.
Council President Maruka.
In the past, we've had resolutions of this nature come up, be it old computer systems or copiers, and we have followed that protocol. Even if there has been pending litigation that has never been raised before. So we are following the procedures this township has always followed, and I would vote yes.
We do not have any reports tonight, so we will move on to the bills.
Move the bill list.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, second by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Turnbach.
I'll abstain from PO 20-06500, payable to the Township Magistrates. PO 20-05755, payable to law firm of Dassey McGuckin. PO 20-06393, 20-00485, 20-06216, and 20-06217, payable to law office of Siddle, Holzapfel, and Zabarski. I'm a local attorney in town. I have conflicts with those. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Abstain from PO 20-05677 and 20-06282, payable to Remington and Vernick Engineers. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Kopp.
I need to abstain from the following: 20-01386, payable to the Board of Fire Commissioners, District 2. 20-05678, 20-06143, payable to Owen and Little Associates, and 20-06650, and 20-066 3651 payable to Silverton First Aid. I'm a member there. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Lotano.
Thank you. I have to abstain from the following. 19-03911 payable to O'Donnell Stanton, and 20-05678 to Owen Little, only on line 2 for Lotano Development. I have a conflict. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Roderick.
I am going to be voting no on Bill 20-05, excuse me, dash 05755, and I will, and that would be it, just voting no on that, but yes to the balance.
Council Vice President Gagan.
I just have 2 abstentions. Purchase order 20-01386 to the Board of Fire Commissioners, District 2, and 200-6650 and 6651, Silverton First Aid. I've been a member there, volunteer for 35 years. I'm sorry, yes to the balance.
Council President Maruka.
Abstain to PO 20-05755, payable to Dasty McGuckin, attorneys at law, and 20-06263, payable to NJMVC, and 20-06500. It's Township Payroll Line, NJMVC lease program. I have a conflict with that. Yes to the balance.
Next, we have elected officials' comments.
Mayor Hill.
Thank you. Only comments, I just to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Healthy New Year, and I hope that 2021 is much different than 2020 with the advent of the vaccines. Hopefully we'll be back to a more normal life in the spring. So everybody have a happy holiday.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Cobb?
I would also like to just wish the residents of Toms River just a happy and healthy holiday season, and I look forward to 2021, and hopefully it's a little bit better than 2020. That's all, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Roderick?
Just wanted to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday, and that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Councilman Lotano?
Thank you very much, Council President. I want to commend the bid director who's here today. The downtown area has done extremely well during this quarantine, as best as you can possibly do. A lot of us were here for the Christmas tree lighting recently, which you can see on the downtown Facebook page. A lot of us were also here for the menorah lighting recently as well, and I'm sure that's out on a Facebook page too. There was a guess how many Christmas lights were on the tree outside, which is enormous now. There were 2 winners that were correct. It was 5,000 lights on that tree. That's an awful lot of lights, and our groundskeepers here deserve a lot of credit for taking them on, but also taking them back off, because that's some feat. The downtown businesses are all doing everything they can to make this pandemic work. The Mathis House is open from 9 to 9. They're also selling holiday presents, gift ideas for last-minute shopping. Shut Up and Eat is taking bread orders for homemade bread. Time for All Season is always open and providing great food. And the Battle River Brewing is having an ugly sweater party contest on Christmas Eve, and the winner will get a $20 gift certificate. All the businesses down here are doing everything they can to try to make it work, and it's up to the residents to support them as best as possible. We are going to January back to 6 o'clock meetings. So it'll be, the reorg meeting will be January 5th at 6 p.m. And I want to wish everybody a happy and healthy holiday season and a happy new year. And I'll see you all in 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Lotano. Council Vice President Gagan?
Again, I'd like to wish everybody a healthy, happy holiday, safe new year, and see you all next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Turnbuck?
Thank you, Council President. I am going to continue to call on our county freeholders to consider a transitional housing center for the homeless in Ocean County. Obviously, we've been very passionate about this. We've led the way in the change of the Code Blue laws. This Sunday, I got an opportunity to volunteer at Just Believe, Inc. at the Code Blue Center. And I got the opportunity to spend an overnight at the center. And to say it impacted me beyond what I can really even speak to, it had a tremendous impact on me. I'm glad I did it. But I learned, obviously, a lot of things that we've been speaking about. And first and foremost, our county has a system for anybody that's homeless, and it's you dial 211. It's set up by the state. And when you dial 211 and you're in Ocean County, you get connected to Paul Holtz, who runs our Toms River Just Believe Inc. So essentially, we are running the county's program at this point. Laws were passed last year that were prompted by us here in Toms River in this council to change the law to 32 degrees across the board. We have it at 35 here. But laws were also put in place to have mental health services and substance abuse services provided at the facility. I slept overnight there, and I can tell you no one's been there to provide those services. I can tell you when it was time to go to sleep on that cot, it wasn't the most comfortable night's sleep I ever had. And I had spent many hours trying to ease people that had mental health issues, talk to them, make them feel human, substance abuse issues. Probably slept 15 minutes that night. But the idea that this is only a necessity from November to March because it's cold misses the point. Completely misses the point. These people don't want the problems they have. And let me tell you, they sleep when they're there because they're up all day because they have nowhere else to rest. The homeless are not faceless. They're human beings. And I'll sit here for as long as the public allows me, and I'm going to do everything I can do to help them. I hear the people that are opposed to it. I read the social media. I see the comments. Turnback can go build that in his backyard. You don't know Turnback, because Turnback would build it in his backyard. And I'll tell you something else to those people. You only motivate me to get this done. I will get it done. And I will tell those people that if it was their family member that was suffering from substance abuse, or if it was their family member that was suffering from mental health, no matter what they say about me, I'm going to help their family member because it's the right thing to do. It's the human thing to do. I've had great discussions with Freeholder Quinn. I see his heart. We've got to get this done, and we will get this done. I encourage you to volunteer at Just Believe Inc. It's in our town. We should be proud of it. Get up there. You have opportunities to serve food, provide for these people. It'll change your life for the positive. It'll make you appreciate when you go home what you have. Tomorrow, I'm proud to indicate that for the 40th week in a row, our township is providing a food distribution for those that are in need. And I've been there for 40 straight weeks, and it's another thing that will impact you tremendously. The need right now is growing. Last week we had 450 boxes. We had more produce than you could ever imagine, and we ran out of boxes. We had to go up to the JBJ Soul Kitchen and get another 50 boxes. I see Bookie's here in the audience. He went out, got in his truck, and got right up there to help the township out with the mayor, who's always there every week. And our community is coming together. We are doing this week in and week out. Again, another great experience, but there's a tremendous need right now with the pandemic, and I don't see it subsiding anytime soon, which leads me to my last comment for the night. About a month ago, we were here, and there was a gentleman that was challenging our council president as to what she does, and addressing her as Maria, which I thought was just distasteful. She's our council president. And we've been at the food distribution for 40 weeks because of our council president, Maria Maruca. Okay? She's done a tremendous job this year as our council president, and she deserves to know that. And she's got this Democrat's support for as long as this Democrat is up here. Every Friday, she's either there, she's checking in. Without a doubt, every Saturday morning, I get the call or the email, how do we do, how many boxes do we need? That's our council president. She works tirelessly. I watch her. I've been here 3 years now, day in and day out. So for someone to get up here and say, what do you do? That person's not paying attention to Toms River, because she works hard for this town day in and day out. And I just want to congratulate you, because I thought you had a tremendous year in guiding us as the council president, so thank you.
Thank you, Terrence.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Turnbuck. Councilwoman York.
So just to piggyback on what Councilman Turnbuck said about the Just Believe Code Blue program, that I don't have all of the stats memorized, but Paul actually sent us some stats in the first 17 days that they were open. And this was 2 weeks ago already. They rehoused 2 people. They got 6 people into rehab, and they got 1 person into sober living. So already, you know, they do a great service to the people of Toms River. They're not just giving them a place to stay for the night when it's cold. They're actually helping them with those core problems. And they're making use of various programs throughout the town. So like Councilman Turnbuck said, sometimes the county is there, but we also have a lot of other organizations in town that have really centered around Just Believe as an access point to the people who need help, and they provide them that help. They gave flu shots a week or 2 ago, and they Alive Again got a shower, so they bring the people from Just Believe to get showers and get cleaned up and feel human again. You know, when you need a shower, really, you just feel human when you get out. And so they're doing really a great service, not just providing a place to spend the night and a meal, but so much more. So for entertainment around town, talking about the downtown businesses, piggybacking on what Councilman Latano said. Hopefully you guys didn't miss Exit 82's presentation of It's a Wonderful Life radio presentation, so they weren't able to do anything in person for Christmas this year, but they did release a radio version that you can listen to while you bake your cookies or whatever. And if you did pay $82, you would have gotten permanent access to that recording. So they hope to be able to present in person, like all the other businesses in town. They're struggling. But they also had some coupons for downtown businesses. So hopefully you guys were able to get those and download those coupons, and make sure you visit the distillery and some of the other businesses in town that had coupons with that. Mandoli's, I know, had one. And hopefully next year they'll be able to do some in-person stuff again. And I'm dressed in scrubs today. Don't you know if you notice I was dressed down because I've been assisting with the distribution of the vaccine for COVID-19, the Pfizer vaccine, since last Thursday. And I got the vaccine myself. I'm here to say I had no side effects. I had a sore arm, which is a normal finding when you get a vaccine, for 1 day, and that's it. So I'm here to say, feel confident. If you're given the opportunity, get the vaccine. It's going to help us all get back to a more normal life, and it's giving a lot of people some hope. So, and other than that, I wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday and a happy new year. That's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman York. I'm just going to touch on a couple of things that have already been said before. The Code Blue program, I tell you, it changes your mindset. It changes the way you look at people through a different lens. And also, and be it the volunteers or be it the clients. If you haven't volunteered, or if you haven't stopped by, please do. They can use all the help they can get. be it volunteering or just being any kind of donations. At any time of the day, you could either drop it off there, you can drop it off to their thrift center over on Route 37, because they use that as a mechanism for raising funds for their program. They're always fundraising through their Facebook page, and they're such a great organization. But Councilman Turnrock is right. It's not just from November to March. There has to be more done. The other thing I want to talk about is Fulfill, another organization that does so much for our community. They are there no matter when we need them. The past couple of holiday giveaways that we have done for the food distribution, Thanksgiving, and for the Christmas one this past week, there were both times we ran out of food. And the first place we turned was a call, and they were like, no problem, we have that stuff. We can give you more turkeys. We can give you more crisis boxes. Just send someone down. And there's always been someone there with a truck or a hand truck or a hand just to go pick up the stuff that they need. And even this last week, they might have been, couldn't fulfill some of the orders after we ran out of, like, say, turkeys and hams and things like that. But they had the crisis boxes there. It's like, absolutely, just go right down Hooper Avenue. They're a phone call or an email away. And they have been a lifeline. As for the volunteers that are there, that kind of call them the Friday family, that have been there every Friday distributing this food. So that's another thing. If you need to stop by, get some food, please do. No questions asked. We'd be happy to see you there. If you need to lend a hand, please do. We'd be happy and we welcome you there as well. When we reorged in January of 2020, this year, which feels like almost a couple years ago, we had a new mayor, we had new council, and we had goals to accomplish some things. And we have accomplished things together as a team. We've accomplished keeping our residents safe. We've accomplished keeping our residents fed. And through the, I was going to say, the monkey wrench or of the pandemic and everything that was thrown off kilter, we still have things that we haven't fully accomplished this year. But we're moving ahead with the Surf Club. We're moving ahead with the efficiency study. They will be, hopefully, in that win column very, very soon. And that's something we're looking forward to. I was very hopeful when I took over as council president for a good year here. And I can honestly say I am more hopeful now than I was back in January because of the people that I sit on this dais with the mayor, with our administrator, with our department heads, with our employees, with our police department, with our volunteer fire department and EMS. They have always put the residents of Toms River first. And I have to say this year, probably more so than ever before. How many times people have left their families to go to attend a function for the township or to attend to an event, or if there was a crisis, they were there. And we had a few this year. We've had derechos, we've had storms, we've had flooding, we've had a lot thrown at us. But you know what? We've come through, and we've come through it together. And I just look forward to working with everyone in 2021, and I would just wish everyone a healthy, happy, and safe and blessed holiday season. And after that, I will open it up for public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to comment this evening?
Seeing none, I move to close the public comments portion of the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances to discuss matters requiring confidentiality and/or of a privileged nature. And whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey as follows. The Township Council will now conduct a private executive session. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed and or acted upon is as follows. Matters of personnel, matters of litigation, land acquisitions, and contract negotiations. The following specific items to be discussed and or acted upon is as follows. The executive session minutes review of December 8, 2020, the personnel issues of the Township Clerk's Office and Administration, and the DOJ R-LUPA investigation status report and discussion. It is anticipated that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. Motion to go into executive session was moved by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach, with all in agreement at 5:45 p.m.
Hey guys, how are you?
Give me a shout out. Yeah, of course. Yeah, how you doing? What's going on?
Thanks,
Good to see you.
How you doing?
Thank you. You too.
You did too. Thank you. Yeah. You know, gotta compliment me too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to adopt the executive session minutes of December 8th, 2020?
We didn't have anything December 8th.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. November 24th. Do I have a motion to adopt the executive session minutes of 11/24/20? Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, second by Councilman Latano. Councilwoman Yurick? Councilman Latano? Yes. Councilman Kopp? Yes. Councilman Roderick? Councilman Turnbach? Yes. Council Vice President Gagan? Council President Maruka?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you very much, everyone.